It's Eva Cartman, and you're listening to the Dream Big podcast show, the place to go to learn, laugh, and grow. Today we welcome Danielle Feinberg, Director of Photography and Lighting at Pixar Studios. She's worked on many of my favorite films, and I'm sure yours too, including Toy Story 2, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, Brave, and Coco. This is episode 79, Big Dreamers. You ready? It's time to dream big.
Welcome to the Dream Big podcast show. We're inspiring you to shoot for the moon, take aim and go. We bring to you amazing guests who truly love what they do. Every day they're living their dreams, and so can you. Dream big, take action to reach your goals. Are you pumped yet? It's showtime, let's rock and roll.
Welcome to the Dream Big podcast show. I am your host, Eva Cartman. And today, I'd like to start by telling you about a special gift we have for all you big dreamers. We created a super cool Dream Big journal that we want to ship to you. And get this, the front of the journal has an illustration of an astronaut in outer space. What is so amazing is that the journal is printed and personalized with your own face and name. So you'll see your face on the cover of this journal as an astronaut. Oh, and it's free. We just have you cover the shipping. Parents, please go to dreambigpodcast.com to claim your free personalized Dream Big journal while this offer is still available. You'll see a video of my mom and I showing our journals. Go to dreambigpodcast.com to get your free journal. It's time for you all to enjoy our discussion with Danielle Feinberg. Danielle began her career at Pixar Animation Studios in February 1997 and has worked on films such as Toy Story 2, Monsters, Inc., the Academy Award-winning Finding Nemo, and The Incredibles. Danielle was the director of photography lighting for the Academy Award-winning features WALL-E, Brave, and Coco. In addition to Danielle's Pixar work, she works with teenage girls, encouraging them to pursue math and science. She'll share how few girls there were in her classes when she was in high school and college. So you will see why it is so important to get more female leaders in technology fields. As always, we have show notes at dreambigpodcast.com/79, where we will include links to everything we discuss in the interview. Without further ado, here's our interview with Danielle Feinberg. Let's roll the tape. Hi, Danielle.
Hi. Hello.
We are so excited that you came on the podcast.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And we're going to get into your incredible career at Pixar in a little bit. But first, I want to take you back to your childhood and have you share this wonderful story I heard in one of your talks about how being the lawnmower girl got you into Harvard.
Yeah, when I was looking at the classes that I could take going into 8th grade, there was a class called Power Mechanics. And the idea was you took a lawnmower that was broken and you took it apart each day and put it back together with the idea that hopefully if you paid attention and did a good job, maybe you could fix the lawnmower at the end of the semester. And I thought this sounded like an awesome class, but I was sort of worried that I was going to be the only girl in the class and that people might think it was pretty weird I was taking the class. So I had to decide whether I was going to take this class, if I was just going to kind of, not make waves and not do the thing that I thought people would think I was a weirdo for. But I'm not very good at ignoring the things that I love and am interested in. So I decided to take the class and take the risk. And so, the first day I showed up and I was definitely the only girl in the class and people definitely thought it was sort of weird I was taking the class. But it worked out okay. No one, I didn't turn into like a social pariah or anything. And every day in class, we would take apart the lawnmower piece by piece. And then at a certain point, we started putting them back together. And then on the last day of the semester, we rolled our lawnmowers out into the sun. And the teacher went down the line putting gas in the lawnmowers. And so I just happened to be at the end of the line, and I'm watching as all these guys are getting gas in their lawnmowers, and they're pulling on the string over and over, and nothing's happening. And, we spent the entire semester on only this one project. And so you can imagine there was sort of this mounting sense of suspense, but also despair. And so the teacher got to me and he put gas in my lawnmower, and I took a deep breath and I pulled the cord as hard as I could. And my lawnmower roared to life. And I looked up and there was this whole long line of guys staring at me incredulously.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
And,
that scene so
I know, it's like the guys saying, "Oh, we're gonna do this. We're gonna be the leaders. We're gonna get this." And then they're like staring at you. Theirs didn't work and yours worked.
Yeah, it was awesome. And so I think I sort of let out a yell, and then I started running around the football field mowing the lawn because now I had a lawnmower that worked.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely, we started our interview already with a great lesson. And one of the lessons that I heard was that you don't have to be afraid to be weirdo. As Danielle said, she was so scared to be different.
And the other one is that we need leaders who, like Danielle, who follow their passion, even if it's not the typical path at the time, like Mom, you said. And imagine how sad it would be if Danielle didn't take the class because it was not popular for girls.
Exactly. So the first two lessons right away. If you feel it's right in your heart, don't let any voices inside of you and outside of you stop you, because we're going to get into Danielle's story and how incredible her career is, and you'll see that decision from not being scared to be different led to all these incredible things that she and her team are creating right now.
Yeah, and Danielle, in college, I heard that you studied computer science at Harvard. You went to Harvard. So what percentage of your class at the time was male versus female?
Most of my computer science classes, and so that meant math classes, engineering classes, computer programming classes, some things like, statistics and stuff. I would say that on average, they were probably 10 to 15% women, so there were very few women in the classes.
We definitely need both male and female voices in technology.
Yeah.
Because this is how we're going to see different future, because male and female, they think differently. And definitely
more girls involved.
So young big dreamers and big dreamers out there, if you have passion for coding, it's not too late, because this is what led actually Danielle to career at Pixar, right?
Yeah, and
absolutely.
And this reminds me, Mom, this is a perfect time to discuss Made with Code, which encourages girls to foster a love for technology and science. What are your thoughts on how we can inspire a generation of female leaders in science and technology?
Oh, I think one of the most important things is that we get more female leaders into technology, so more females in technology, period, and then more leaders so that people can see, young women or women in technology can see women as leaders, but also so the men can see more women as leaders, because I think the more normal it becomes to have half a room of women and half a room of the men, and just all kinds of diversity in the room in general, the more normal it becomes to listen to every single voice in the room, and the more normal it is for everyone to dream that they could start their own company, that they can do the things that are changing the world all over the place and have that power.
Thank you.
And big dreamers, we will definitely include the links in the show notes to Made with Code's site, and we definitely encourage everyone, both girls and boys alike, to check out this website, which features inspiring women like Danielle who are doing amazing things in technology.
And Danielle, I was going to ask you if you maybe give advice to our parents, big dreamers, who can do something at home with their kids to inspire that love for technology. I mean, I know kids have iPads all day long. And adults, I think they love watching the technology, but how about even like
Making.
inside and making it and
Yeah.
robots maybe.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, we're so lucky to live in this age where there's so many resources online. When I was growing up, you couldn't just go online and take a coding class or something. And so there's so many things online. And I think, like, for example, on the Made with Code site, you can do some really simple coding exercises that are just the littlest taste of it. But you can also do things like go to code.org and do the hour of code that all kinds of famous people have even done now. And it's gone across the country and the world doing just an hour of code to get a little taste of it and just see if you like it. And it's a really fun thing you can do with your kids. You know, there's
Website again, please?
it's code.org. Super simple. Yeah. And there's languages like Scratch, which was developed at MIT. That's a good one. That's to start sort of playing around with. There's all kinds of resources out there, like the Khan Academy has great classes, or Code Academy. So there's a lot of resources online now, even from the youngest ages where maybe you can't even read. There's ways of learning code on iPads and stuff. So there's all kinds of great things out there.
Wow, incredible. We have
Wow.
a 3.5-year-old. We should give her
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. You know, let's talk about Pixar now. I know you joined Pixar in 1997, so that's like when before Pixar became like a household name. Can you share why and how you knew Pixar was a special place before it actually became famous for creating some of the best movies of all time?
Sure thing. So when I was a junior in college, so I was taking a computer graphics class, and the professor showed these short films from Pixar. And it was before anyone knew what Pixar was. It was before Pixar had even made Toy Story, the first feature-length computer animated film that had ever been made. And so it was really like the first time any of us had seen any computer animation. And I remember sitting in that room and watching those films and just feeling like I had the biggest moment of, oh my gosh, I can't believe that all the math, science, and code I've been learning all these years could come together to create worlds and characters and tell stories. And this is what I want to do with my life. It was like clear as day to me because I was still sort of like, well, I don't know, maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do that. I'm studying computer science, but this was the moment where I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. And it was pretty magical.
It's incredible. So
Yeah.
You just, listen to your voice again inside of you, right? Try
And
to do
said,
it.
Yeah.
I want to do this.
Yep. Pixar
Exactly.
is amazing, and for big and young big dreamers,
Who may not know what Pixar is,
yeah.
it is a company that puts together amazing movies like Toy Story 2, Finding Nemo, Brave, and most recently, Coco.
Yes. You will love Coco, right?
Yeah, I went to see it
Awesome.
in the movie theaters the first day it came out.
Did you really? Awesome.
So, Daniel, can you share, please, your role with Pixar nowadays?
Sure. So I just am about to hit 21 years that I've been there, if you can believe that. And I got my job there 8 months after I graduated from college. And I started out in an entry-level kind of technical position and worked my way into a combo of the kind of tech and art, the creative, which is my favorite thing, is that combo of those two. And so my first movie there was A Bug's Life, and I got to do just a little bit of lighting on that film because the lighting department needed help to get done in time because it was such a big film to make. So I did a little bit of lighting, and I just fell in love with it. To me, that's where the whole world kind of comes to life on the screen. And so then I've done lighting pretty much ever since. And starting in 2005, the director of Finding Nemo was making a new movie, and he asked me if I would direct the lighting for his film. So it was a big promotion. And I thought, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I know how to do that. But when the director of Finding Nemo asks you to direct the lighting for his movie, then you say yes. So I said yes. Yeah, exactly. And so that movie turned out to be WALL-E. And so WALL-E is the first movie where I directed the lighting. And then I directed the lighting for Brave, and then most recently Coco.
Great.
Danielle, how has the technology you've been able to work with over the years changed? And what do you see coming in the future that you are excited about?
The technology has changed enormously. It's a very young field, computer animation is. And so when I first started there, it was just after Toy Story had been made. And so that was the first feature-length animated film. And so everybody at Pixar was just making it up of just trying to figure out how to make a whole film. And so then on A Bug's Life, we then got a little more complicated and try to figure out how to do that. And so we were breaking barriers of, well, we don't know how to do hair, so let's do a big research and development project to figure out hair for, say, Sullivan and Monsters Incorporated. And, we don't know how to do underwater, so let's figure out how to do underwater for Finding Nemo. And so we were breaking barriers left and right, trying to figure out how to make all these movies. And so things have changed a lot, mostly with figuring out just how to create all these different stories. And so, everybody always gets all excited about new technology, but the thing that I get really excited about is that we keep developing the technology and making faster computers. And what I think that really lets us do is tell any story that we really want to. Because the thing that I get excited about in the end is the story that we can put on screen. And so the things that I, sort of get excited about and look forward to are how the changes in technology just make us be able to create these crazy worlds in any kind of world that we want.
Incredible.
Yeah.
That all these films are made, and I remember my childhood with just one maybe cartoon. I grew up in Soviet Union.
Day.
One cartoon a day for like 5 minutes maybe. Very old. And now we're so excited to see these movies with kids. Because they are made not only for kids, they're made for adults for sure.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and when my mom was growing up, it was like when you missed it, you missed it for
exactly.
No iPads, no
for forever.
Yeah. Totally.
And I was hoping you could talk about what it is like working with a great team, because obviously a movie like Coco cannot be created by just one person. It is true, a team effort involving what I imagine is hundreds of people. Can you share how many people work with you on lighting in Coco and just the overall scale of the effort required to create a feature length of the animated film?
Yeah, at probably our biggest on Coco, we had 250 people on the whole movie. And the director spent, I think, 7 years making the movie, working on the story and figuring out what it would be. My lighting team was 50-something people. It was, I think, 47 or 48 lighters at the biggest, and then there's another probably 10 people on top of that. So it's a big team, and the great thing is that one of the things that's so wonderful about Pixar is that we get to work on wonderful films, but I also get to work with wonderful people. There's a lot of super, super talented people there, but they're also really nice people, so it makes it really fun to make these movies with them. And I have to say that, I guess I'm biased, but I think our lighting team is the best lighting team in the entire world. I work with these people that every day just blow my mind. They come in, they show me their lighting, and it just looks amazing. And so I feel very fortunate, and making movies is an enormous team effort. You really I don't know how one person could make it, because it's with the group, it just gets better and better and better. So we're very lucky there.
And notice, Big Dreamers, it starts with the vision probably and the dream of one person, and then you get together a team and group of people who believe in that vision as well.
Yeah, like we always say, Big Dreamers, you gotta have a vision, then take action, and then you can reach your goal. And you also need to have people help you along the way, because most of the time it has to be more people instead of just one person.
Exactly. And Danielle, what would you say is your secret to managing the team that works great, that excited about their work? Do you have any secret, or are they just all amazing? I mean, you mentioned it. But I imagine there is some management involved, and how do you excite them when something is not working and you know that you have to meet your deadline?
Yeah. I think that one of the things I really love is, I played sports growing up, and my very best coaches were the coaches that understood that each player was different and each player needed a different thing. And so I try very hard with my teams to sort of understand where people's strengths are and play to those strengths so that they get to feel like they're accomplishing things and satisfied instead of getting sort of stuck on things that aren't necessarily their strength, and nor do I need to have them doing that, And so I think that really helps. And I think that there's no one that's short on motivation at Pixar. And so when we're grinding it out on these movies, people really want to make the best movie possible. So they hardly need anything from me. I just try to keep them going in the right direction so we can have the right people problem solving. I help them, and then I have some really talented sort of leads that I can send them to who can figure out most any problem that if they're stuck. So we try to support people in as many ways as we can so that they get to have a good time making the movies.
It takes a village.
It does. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
a few villages to create something amazing. So,
And I want to ask you a couple questions that won't be as long as the other questions, but like really short, fun ones.
Okay.
What is your most embarrassing moment?
My most embarrassing moment. I guess the one that pops to mind, maybe there's a worse one, but I went with my parents when I was a little kid, and we were at dinner, and my parents had some business folks with them, and it was my sister and I, and they didn't serve us dinner until very late. Something was slow at the restaurant, and it was like maybe 10 or 11 o'clock, and I put my head on my hand, and I was getting sleepy, and my head fell in my plate, and the whole table stopped and looked at me, and it was embarrassing.
What are your hobbies or the things you do for fun other than your work, or not so-called work, but
Yeah. Well, I like to play with my dog, Frankie, the French bulldog. He's a lot of fun. I also love to cook. I love to travel so much. I'm going to India next week, and I also like to take photographs. So usually when I travel, I take photographs. I also like to do art in my spare time. So drawing and sculpture. I like to read. I don't know, all kinds of crazy stuff.
That's awesome. Well, that's a creative person right there.
Yeah.
Who likes different things, and that expands your mind and expands your vision for work as well. So I'm sure Pixar is happy when you do that.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And if you go back in time and talk to your 10-year-old self, what would be your best advice?
I think that I would tell my 10-year-old self that just because someone says something, it doesn't mean it's true. And so adults, I think, sometimes don't even realize that they're sort of crushing kids' dreams, or, there might be a teacher that says, oh, girls don't do that, or why don't you do something that girls are good at, or, these things that I don't think they even think about. And so if I were to go back to my 10-year-old self, I would tell myself, don't you listen to what other people tell you. If you're passionate about something, if you believe in something, or if you even just like something, you go after it and don't worry about what anyone else says.
So true.
Yeah, big dreamers, that's a good lesson. Always go after what you're passionate about. Don't care what someone else says.
Exactly. And Danielle, when you doubted yourself in the past, and I'm sure that you had many moments like this, what made you overcome those fears and continue to pursue your dreams?
Well, I think that I have generally, like the lawnmower story, I have generally always gravitated towards and worked very hard for the things that I'm passionate about. And so, I really wanted to work at Pixar. I love my job at Pixar. And so when I have to work hard, it doesn't feel like hard work as much because I love what I'm doing. And so when I've hit the times where I don't feel confident about what I'm doing, or I'm not sure I know what I'm doing, I'm sort of carried by that passion. And so what I've had to learn over time is that, if you aren't challenging yourself, then you aren't ever going to feel scared about stuff because you're very comfortable. But it's also not actually that interesting of a way to live. And so if you're going to challenge yourself, it doesn't matter how old you are, you're going to end up in a situation where you feel a little scared, or you feel like you don't know what you're doing, just like I described when I got asked to direct the lighting for Wall-E. And so what I do is I just sort of think to myself, okay, well, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this before. And so I'm just going to every day keep chipping away at it and put one foot in front of the other. And one way to do that helps sort of calm down that voice in your head that's like, you don't know what you're doing, is to do more work. And so I do more research and more investigating on how to do the thing, or I talk to people I trust and ask them how they've done it and different things like that. And that definitely kind of gives you the building blocks to do the thing you're scared about, but also kind of makes that voice in your head quiet down that's trying to tell you that you don't know what you're doing.
That is such a great advice.
Yeah.
It's like a strategy for
Yeah.
everything in life,
Yeah.
for business, for personal life, for find mentors in your life, as Danielle said, who've done it before. And don't be afraid to ask questions. It's okay not to know everything. No one knows everything.
Absolutely.
That's why we have Google.
Yeah.
But you don't be afraid. Ask, and you'll find the answer. We live in such an amazing age where information and how-to answers are under our fingertips, right?
Yeah.
We just
Yeah.
ask the question, we'll get the answer, and then talk to people who've done it.
Yeah, and Danielle, I know you have already made many of your dreams a reality, but if you look at yourself today, what's your big dream for the future?
You know, I love working on the film, so I think that I love what I'm doing now, and so I just want to keep doing that. And so then I think what my big dream is that, you know, I spend almost all my free time, actually, when I'm not playing with my dog and doing the other things, running around giving talks to mostly girls, but kids and people, all kinds of people, about how we make our films at Pixar and all the math, science, and code and art that goes into them. And so I use this to try to get girls especially, but all kinds of kids excited about the STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math, so that we can have more diversity in the room, so we can have half women and half men in the room, and we can have all kinds of people leading us into the next decade.
That's great. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
thank you.
And we're about to wrap up our interview, and the very last question that we usually ask, and we will include all links, of course, in the show notes, but where can our audience find out more about you?
Well, I have a website that's daniellefeinberg.com, and so there's some things there. One of the best ways, if you want to know some more, is I have a TED Talk. So if you go to TED.com and look up Pixar, you'll find my talk, and I talk a lot about a little bit about my dreams, a little bit about Pixar films and how we make them, and some of the science and code behind them. And then Made with Code is another place where you can learn a little more about me. So those are probably 3 great places.
That's amazing. This is how we found you, through TED Talks. So
Yeah.
definitely
Awesome.
works.
Awesome.
And we will include all the links in our show notes. And thank you so much.
Thank
for your
you.
information, for your wisdom.
Thank you for having me. It was so wonderful to talk to you.
Thank
so much,
you.
Danielle. We'll
Bye.
talk to you soon. Big dreamers,
Okay.
keep dreaming and take action.
To reach your goals.
Believe in that when people say you can't do it, of course you can. You just have to have passion for it and take.
Yeah, and if someone says it's impossible, impossible isn't in my vocabulary. So is you can't do it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Wasn't it so much fun getting some behind the scenes insight into how Pixar makes these incredible films? I always knew it was a team effort, but I never realized how big of an effort it truly was. And I really love how Danielle is working so hard to encourage girls to pursue dreams in math, science, and engineering. No matter what your big dream is, you should feel like you can go after and achieve it. Be sure to check out our show notes at dreambigpodcast.com/79 for links to Danielle's website and everything else we discussed in the episode. When you go to the show notes, you'll see a place to sign up for our insider newsletter, where we send exclusive content, including a free audio that I made on my top 10 tips for making and keeping great friends. This audio is only available for those who subscribe, and I know this will really help you, so please be sure to have your parents join the newsletter to get it. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Eva Cartman reminding you that you have unlimited potential. Your dreams are not optional. You need to make them essential. So take massive action to turn those big dreams into reality. Live with passion, the way life is meant to be. I'll see you in the next episode.